Well, boys, it's finally here. It's the week before the Premier League starts. Guys, football is back.
Football is home, you mean? Football is back in the building.
Let's do it.
This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight, that's Brad. He supports Chelsea. And down below, that is Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. And welcome in. This is the brand new format for Red Card Radio. This is going to be the Red Card Radio review show. Basically, what we're going to do this week is we're going to break down the Premier League and football generally from last season, get you primed, ready to go for this upcoming season starting this Friday, August the 5th, with Crystal Palace and Arsenal kicking off the Premier League season. So what we've got for you guys today, we're going to go through the Premier League table from last year. We're going to kind of talk about the major storylines, the big hits, things like that. And then we're going to talk about the individual awards, who won what, things like that, before we get out of here in about 20 to 25 minutes.
Gotta get loose, boys.
Sounds good, boys?
Oh. Gotta get ready for the season. Make sure you're stretched out.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to pull anything. That would be mildly inconvenient.
Yes, if you pulled something talking about the Premier League.
And maybe the way you could avoid that is if you like, comment, review, 5-star? 5-star?
Like, subscribe, rate, and review 5-star. You got to get it down.
Yeah,
James.
sorry.
We've been doing this for close to 2 years.
Yeah,
like, subscribe, rate, and review 5-star.
That's not my bit. So I swear I didn't have the cadence right. That's why if you tried to do the intro, you would mess it up as well, because you'd be like...
that would be mildly inconvenient.
Yeah, exactly. This is the problem. When we try and do each other's bits, it doesn't work. All right.
Let's review some stuff.
All right, let's review. All right, hold on a second. I'm loyal listeners, you will see I am not in my normal location, so bear with me if you're on YouTube. Things are going to look slightly scuffed for just a moment, but I need to quickly... Oh, this is the wrong one. We're going to get there, boys. Hold on. Table view. Boom. This is the Premier League table from last year. There we go. We finally got there. All right. So, of course, Manchester City, they were the champions of the Premier League. Not a huge surprise, right? They were certainly the favorites going into the season, up there with Liverpool.
They were challenged. They were challenged within an inch of their life.
Yeah, by Liverpool.
Up until the last day, too.
True.
Villa putting 2 on them early.
Yeah, it was like the last 45 minutes, too. So City finished first on 93 points. First off, that's an incredible point total. 93 points is a lot of points. What's also incredible about this league table is Liverpool finished second on 92 points. That's also an incredible point total, and even more incredible to be the second place team. These two teams, Manchester City and Liverpool, have been leaps and bounds better than all the teams in the league for like the last 4 years.
I think their points totals for the last 4 years are within 1 point of each other.
It's
ridiculously close.
Let's take a minute and break it down for a second. Do you?
I wonder where this is going.
No, I just do we want to like crown Klopp a little praise here? Because if you go apples for apples straight across the board, like they got lucky with the wing backs. Like they got lucky with Alexander Arnold and Robertson. Yeah. But other than that, like they're just riding Salah and last year, Mane and then they got Diaz, but they're kind of riding with what they had for a while off the back of Klopp, I guess. Like
okay. I see what you're saying. So you're trying to give Klopp some props.
Give Klopp a little props on that because they just refresh that freaking machine they got in Manchester. They just refresh it every year with new players. For who cares what it costs? That doesn't matter to them because they just cook the books so they don't get in trouble.
That's an opinion.
So,
that's an opinion.
That is an opinion. That is an opinion. That is not in the court of law or EPL law or whatever.
In Sean's opinion,
we all know it's true. We all know it's true.
Oh man, should we cut that? We should cut that out.
There is no financial fair play going on in the city of Manchester.
Oh.
I'm including you too, United.
Probably.
All right.
Or
Well-
Barcelona.
Well, it's going to take us a minute to get to Manchester United because in third we're Chelsea. Brad,
Good segue.
thank you. Brad was sure that Chelsea were going to have a better season last year, but Chelsea finished third on 74 points. Tottenham Hotspur finished fourth on 71 points. That rounds out the top four. So, of course, those four teams will be representing England in this upcoming season's Champions League, the premier European sporting competition, until maybe the Super League. Right, Joel? Okay, and in fifth is Arsenal. They just barely miss out on the top four, 69 points, two behind Spurs. Those two teams were battling it out till the end. Arsenal were in fourth position and let that slip away, much to the pain of Arsenal
battle,
fans everywhere.
Brad, you ready for this? That battle between Arsenal and Tottenham, as my grandfather would say, was tighter than a camel's ass in a sandstorm.
It was. I mean, so it wasn't even the defeat at White Hart Lane for Arsenal. It was the defeat away to Newcastle that really killed Arsenal. So whatever, we'll get them this year. Manchester United finished sixth. Their worst point tally in the Premier League era. So in 30 years or 29 years of Premier League football, because this is the 30th year coming up. And so in 29 years of Premier League football, Manchester United had never finished with more, had never 58 points, the lowest point total they had accumulated in 29 years of Premier League football. So really poor season for them. Of course, they went through multiple managers. Hopefully that will, for United fans everywhere, they're hoping for something different this year. West Ham, very respectable finish in seventh. There was a while there where they were flirting with the Europa League. Season just got a little long for them. They had a really small squad comparatively, but I think seventh's a very respectable finish for West Ham United. Leicester finish in eighth. I think that's a disappointment for Leicester from last year. They finished fifth the season before, eighth this last season. So Brighton and Hove Albion finish in ninth. I had them relegated last year. I picked them to get relegated, and they finished in the top half. So if you're new to this podcast, maybe you should turn off because I don't know anything, allegedly. But please don't. Hit the subscribe button.
Relegated.
Wolves finished 10th. Newcastle finished 11th after being in like 19th position through November or something like that. They fired Steve Bruce, brought Eddie Howe in, and also Saudi Arabia. Spent a lot of money in January and finish in 11th. 12th was Crystal Palace. Brentford, very respectable 13th. Aston Villa were in 14th. I think that was a disappointing result for Aston Villa. I think that they expect to be higher. Southampton were in 15th. Also a club I think expect to finish higher. Everton, kind of one of the more interesting stories of the Premier League season last year. Everton finished in 16th on 39 points. Leeds United finished on 38 points and 17th. And then getting relegated were Burnley, Watford, and Norwich City. So that's how the Premier League shook out last year. That's essentially how that's what it looked like last year. What are you guys' takeaway from the league table from last year? What do you guys think about?
Other than you getting Brighton utterly wrong.
But yeah.
I think
getting the relegation teams correct.
And me also getting the relegation teams correct. Because we had the same.
I got 2 out of 3.
I'd just say, but my surprise would, I guess not surprise, but like it was impressive that Newcastle clawed their way from 19th to 11th. That is impressive nonetheless. Although that is a bit of a muddle huddle, which is American football term. Bit of a just a muddle of teams from 10 to 17.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
That it's easy to snake your way up there, but still, that's just still impressive to string together results to get your way from 19th to 11th. And I know there's money involved. There's way more money involved from 19th, relegation, to 11th. There's a lot, or 17th to 11th. There's a lot more money. So that's impressive.
Brad, what about you? What's your biggest shock or takeaway or whatever from the league table last year?
If you had told me at the beginning of the season that at the end of the season Crystal Palace would have a better goal differential than Manchester United, I would have laughed you off of the podcast. So Crystal Palace had an awesome showing. 12th I think was a little unfair to them. They played very, very well. That team, Vieira had that team spinning. So I think that was a huge shocker.
I mean, they're 12th, but they're what, like 6 points away from being eighth?
Correct.
It actually is no surprise to me that Patrick Vieira has a very defensive-minded team that does not allow goals. It actually, that is no surprise to me.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess if you compare them to the clubs around them, they're significantly better than most of the teams around them.
Well, let me reprise that a little bit. It's a defensive-minded team that doesn't park the bus.
Ah, got it. Okay.
It is a very defensively sound team that doesn't park the bus. That doesn't surprise me with Patrick Vieira because he was not a park the bus central defensive midfielder. He was a very go forward central defensive midfielder. But it's defense first, then we attack. It's we need to take the ball first, then we attack. And that so it is counterattack in some regards, but it's not park the bus and wait for them to lose their steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's high pressing. It's a high pressing instead of a sit back.
That doesn't surprise me with the Patrick Vieira-led team.
Go for it. Okay.
What about you?
I was just gonna say, I think my biggest shock was Everton. I was pretty high on Everton coming into the season. I thought that they had been showing a lot of Everton have been spending a lot of money over the last 4 or 5 years. They've brought in managers that should have experience. Carlo Ancelotti. They brought in Rafa Benitez at the beginning of last year, and I was really high on them. I thought that Rafa Benitez would have them playing very good football, and I thought they would do very well. I thought they'd finish in the top half. To see them in a relegation battle with Frank Lampard as their manager in the last 10 games of the season was not something that was on my bingo card for the 21-22 season. I think that it kind of seems like they are, and especially so like the latter half of last season and kind of coming into this summer, which we'll talk about in our news episode about Everton and their transfer dealings and things like that. They seem to be kind of in a state where they could potentially go down next year as well. They don't seem like they have righted a lot of their issues. I saw Everton play in person a couple weeks ago, and I know it's just preseason, but they did not look. They don't look like a team that's ready for a Premier League season to start in 3 or 4 days. So I think
any of us did. So to be fair,
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I wasn't making a dig at you, but losing to Roma, Jose's got to rub that in. So I had to throw that disclaimer out there.
Did you guys lose to Roma?
Yeah, we lost to Roma. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I actually had no idea about that result.
Yeah. Wow. We lost to Roma. Yeah.
Good for Jose. Good for Jose.
Jose loved that. Jose loved that.
Of course he did. That is next to Richard Petty. That is the most petty man on earth.
Oh. So, I think of course we could talk about Manchester City and Liverpool all day. Like that is a huge storyline. Those two clubs with Pep and Klopp at the helm, they have been going back and forth for the last 4 seasons. I think what Brad, you were saying, 1 point separates them or something along those lines over the last 4 years. That's been an incredible rivalry to a degree. They're not direct rivals, but they're like in terms of being maybe the 2 best football clubs in the entire world rivalry. But Manchester United had a really tumultuous year. Started off with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They had high hopes bringing in Rafael Varane, Jordan Sancho, and Cristiano Ronaldo, and things just couldn't get going for them.
Wait, who was the manager last year?
It was Ollie's at the wheel. Right?
I think you said it wrong. I think Cristiano. I think you meant Cristiano.
Oh, no. But Ollie's at the wheel. Give him the paper. Let him sign it. Put whatever number he wants. That's what Rio said. That's what Ferdinand said.
Yeah, because Ronaldo told him to say that.
Oh, we jest because that was they couldn't get an identity last year. They couldn't figure out what to do. Of course, sacked.
Turns out a player manager can't actually do on-field tactics.
Well, I don't know. His tactics he scored a lot of goals last year.
He
Cristiano.
did score a lot of
Oh
goals.
yeah. All his tactics turned to him scoring goals. Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah,
Color
Sancho
me
guy.
surprised.
The Sancho guy put him in the doghouse. He's in the dungeon. He doesn't get to play.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think what to wrap up a little bit of the last year review, we missed Son and Salah with the Golden Boot.
True.
I think you guys had
almost
some-
just Son. It was almost just Son for a while there.
almost just Son for a little bit, but then Liverpool had a resurgence. Actually,
It was the last game
there
of the
was a-
season. Son overtook
Yes.
Salah, right? With 2 goals.
But with the second goal, I'll try to make this brief. Kulusevski had a really cool interview in Swedish in Sweden where he admitted the second goal that he scored. So the second goal of the game, he scored it. It was Son assist, or maybe not Son assist, but Son was waiting at the back post, and it would have been his 22nd goal, which Son got later in the game. But he said he had a moment where he thought, his instinct took to just put it in like he should, and he thought, I should pass this to Son because he's going for the Golden Boot, and he just hit it into the goal. And then he thought to himself, "Oh my gosh, I maybe cost him the goal." And like it was a rare moment of honesty from a player,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Son got the second goal later that put him to 22, so it really didn't matter. But Dejan like having that moment of like, "Oh my gosh, I might have cost him the Golden Boot." It was a really cool interview.
Yeah. So who won the who won the Golden Glove? Who had the most clean sheets last year, Sean?
Ederson and Allison tied for that. I don't know if we picked Golden Gloves, but
We didn't last year.
We did not.
We probably would have picked one of those two because they're the best.
I think that we picked this year, and the 2 people who seriously picked one of those 2. A third person in this podcast was the biggest homer. The biggest homer.
Honestly, those are the 3 best goalkeepers in.
Like it's not crazy to pick Mendy.
Yeah,
I mean,
No,
I think with
those are-
Chelsea's
I didn't say De
defense-
Gea.
I think with Chelsea, De Gea's, well, anyway. So domestic cup winners, Liverpool do the domestic cup double. They won the FA Cup and the League Cup. The Champions League, UEFA Champions League, Real Madrid beat Liverpool in that final. So for a moment there, Liverpool were in the running for the what was
the quad.
Yeah.
The quad. Yeah, unfortunately.
Why can't any of us remember what they were called? Quadruple. Thank you.
What?
Thank you.
Quadruple. We all said the quad.
Well, you said the quad, but I was like, we
I
didn't
thought
get
you
the
meant,
name
like,
quadruple. I couldn't remember.
Oh.
I was being,
I
there's
tried to get it to you,
there's
Mr. Vacation.
there's a camera recording me right now, so words are I'm losing the words.
Hard. Hey, man, that's an awesome hat in the background, by the way.
Yeah, my brother says hello from Torino. So that's essentially what the Premier League looked like last year. Liverpool City knocking it out of the park. Chelsea kind of, I don't want to say limping along, but they kind of limped into third.
2 trophies in the third
man's
spot.
Kind of limped into third.
Two trophies with this shit again. God dang.
It's better than
2 trophies that don't matter to anybody but Chelsea. Audi Cup and the whatever cup we just got this year.
Okay, one thing I do have to point out before we get out of this episode, because we do have 3 teams coming into the Premier League for this season: Fulham, Nottingham Forest, and Bournemouth. They are all coming into the league this year.
Yes.
So
Nottingham Forest has bought a whole new team.
Yes. So I'm really interested to see what they got going on.
See if they can get some team chemistry going before the game is
Yeah.
over.
should be
And
interesting.
hey, you forgot about Mr. Tattoo, the special one.
Oh,
The
did
first
Win the
manager
Conference
ever to win the Champions League, the Europa League, and now the Conference League. The
Mr.
special one.
Mr. Jose Mourinho, the one, the only, the special one. All right, boys. That's it. That's all we got. That's
all we got for the review.
the quickest, most concise, the only Premier League review you will need for last season. So
That's it. Wrap it up.
Wrap
20
it.
minutes.
put a bow on it. So if you're still listening, if you're new here, we really appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe. We got great content coming at you all this week. So feel free to check out our YouTube channel or our podcast sites. Wherever you get your podcasts, you'll be able to find this. As always, that is at KSBradG. That's at Whiteheart_Sean. And I am at James Tiffany. Feel free to hit us up on Twitter at redcard_radio, or drop us a comment in the YouTube, and we will work that into our conversation for next week. Until then, have a good one. Good night.